Mr. Gasser, we are live. We are live. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How about yourself? It is a Monday, and the Dodgers and Yankees. That's what's going to be happening here. You believe we're playing baseball like the end of October into November, but that's who's going to be playing. West Coast, East Coast. Back in the day.
Yeah, I'll take it, Dodgers. That's I'll book a beer with you on that one.
Okay. All right. Well, I think the
Not
Dodgers.
not unless you think the Yankees are going to win.
Well, I kind of got that feeling, but who knows? It could be the Dodgers' year. You never know. Be interesting to watch this one.
Yeah, what's that superstar they got supposedly on their team?
Well, they have so many on the Yankees. I mean, no.
On the Dodgers.
Oh,
50-50 guy.
Yeah, he is good.
Yeah, so
yeah, we'll see what happens.
The World Series. That's really about the only time I really get serious about watching any baseball is the World Series.
Absolutely.
Yeah, don't watch it much during the season, or just see them a little bit here and there, and just to see if the Brewers are winning or losing and that type of thing. That's about it.
College football, Georgia goes to Texas and shoots it all up and wins big time. Wasn't supposed to happen. They did. Congratulations to them. And then that team from Tuscaloosa looks like they lost the second game. Second game there, Tom. That's not supposed to happen, but it's a rebuilding year. So we'll see what happens in the name of name, image, and likeness. No pun intended. But
yeah. Well, my Badgers won 23-3 over Northwestern.
Cool.
3 straight wins, 116 points versus 16 points scored against them. So they're clicking pretty well. Their defense is pretty awesome. Nice. Unfortunately, I had to play Alabama and USC early in the season, but this coming Saturday night, they play Penn State, which is ranked number 4. So that'll be their breakout game. If they beat them, then they'll have a good chance of playing the playoffs, I think. So yeah. But
be interesting.
They're building new coach, second year. With the what they call the transport funnel and all that type of stuff. It's really crazy.
The portal,
yeah. We got college professional football now, right?
Yeah, you do.
It's the minor leagues of the NFL. That's the way I look at it. So, Mr. Mark Gassert, now that we talked about sports, we're not going to talk about politics tonight. I don't think.
But do get out and vote, everybody.
Yes,
please do. And
I'll be out there at 7:00 tomorrow morning. Is Wisconsin's tomorrow's first day of early voting, so I'm going to take advantage of that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I already took care of that last week because the 15th was our first day officially. Early voting.
Early voting. I always really still enjoy showing up on election day, but there's more reasons to vote early than ever before. It saves your party money. They don't have to spend money on trying to get you out to vote. They can spend that money on those that haven't voted yet or still standing in the, who do I vote for, which I think is quite obvious. It always comes down to, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? And go with the candidate that has made your life better. And so that's how I'm approaching it. Getting out of the personalities, all about policies and outcomes and results. So I think we got the right person coming up to turn us around. So we did talk politics, though. So there we go. We probably won't have anybody watching us tonight now because of that. But anyway, we'd like you to just turn on your notifications, tag and share. And I'll start out with this, Mark, and then we'll go.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk about tonight. What are you grateful for today?
I am grateful, as always, that I'm here and I'm able to do this. I'm grateful for the fact that, I had a Very relaxing weekend with my wife. I didn't have to do too many baseball games. It was kind of nice to kick back, do things around the house. Got our deck, refurbed, retweaked, and looks great. The guy did a fantastic job. I'll probably put a post or two on Facebook or other social media channels. He does excellent work. Um, and essentially had a great weekend in terms of being able to do things with Gina for a change instead of worrying about going to a baseball tournament. That's about coming to a halt because we're finally getting cool weather here. So it's about time, right? We're at the end of October.
Yeah.
So we're due. We're due even in this state. But that's pretty much what I did, Tom. And, it was good just doing things around the house for a change. I enjoyed it.
Good. Simple things. Got to be grateful for those. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm grateful for the fact that I have another day to be above ground, vertical, the best way to say it. Another day to go out and serve and help people as I move through the day. And tonight we'll be talking a little bit about my why a little bit around that. And I'm just grateful to know you, be part of this Elevate Your Profits. How many? We were 3.5 years now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Do you believe that? That's
no,
amazing.
I can't believe that. I got more gray hair than when I started. That's for sure. More white hair. I guess it's better than having no hair. So
some of us are working on that too. So
yeah,
it's good. It's and now we're getting ready. Believe it or not, I've been to stores out and about, and they're already promoting Christmas, Tom. And like what you're going to talk about, it's behavior before numbers. So they're trying to alter our behavior with advertisements and all sorts of crazy stuff for Christmas, and we haven't even hit Halloween yet. But it's there, it's out there, knocking on the door. So
yes, it's so true. How we've been culturally indoctrinated on how to spend money and where priorities should be, and that type of thing. It's unfortunate that
right.
We're influenced in those ways at the emotional level. So today we'll talk a little bit about that, and that's sort of my story. I was in financial service industry back nearly 20 years, 19 years, helping people better understand the principle of money, and was insurance license, securities license. I started out at A.L. Williams Day. It's Primerica. And always wanted, I'm also a Dave Ramsey certified financial coach. Some of the principles I talk about tonight will be around some of those principles, but most of them are about the behavior, your thought process, your belief systems around money. And where do you begin to cultivate that? Because I remember when Bob Proctor talked with me when I became a certified consultant with Proctor Gallagher Institute, met with him with my business. I may have shared this story before, but I had my business binder with my why and my purpose and my business plan and all that. And he talked with me for about a half hour, 45 minutes. And he said, your plan isn't going to work. I can give you the best plan in the world and it won't work for you because my relationship with money, my belief system around money wasn't strong enough to meet the goals that business plan. He said, it was a good plan. It was well executed and well thought out, but he was right about my belief system, understanding that I didn't have a strong relationship with money in a positive way to have that type of success. And so Bob Proctor, he's no longer with us, but tonight there's a bonus available for anybody that is watching this. They can go to my website and I'll have that information up in the slide presentation to get a free download of the book, a PDF of You Were Born Rich, my book that I wrote, How Debt Robs Your Wealth Building Strategies, and a tool to help you better understand where your dollars go on a day-to-day basis, a zero-based budget form. And I won't get into all the details of how to use it, but those are free bonuses. Also, you can reach out to me, and if you have questions, I'm offering a free 30-minute consultation to help you kickstart changing maybe your beliefs or changing the direction you're going financially with new belief systems and attitudes. So that's what we'll be talking about tonight.
That's nice. That's very nice to do that, Tom.
Yeah. So the reason I'm doing this presentation is I want as many people to start rethinking their relationship with money and financial success, what that really means. But I'm doing this presentation for the state of Wisconsin's Real Estate Property Inspection Association this Saturday. So this is sort of a warm up and get me sort of in the groove, a little bit of sharing my message and sharing what I'm going to be talking about this Saturday. So I'm sharing the stage with the great Rex Sykes as well. So I'm kind of excited about that. So little plug there for Rex. We've interviewed Rex I've interviewed Rex about his book. So he'll be talking about the principles of attitudes and beliefs as well around his book that he's written. So I'm really looking forward to it. Tonight, I'm looking forward to share this with those out there. So tag and share. Never know how this will impact you or anybody you know that is maybe struggling financially, is wondering why they're not moving ahead. Now, we can get into a lot of cause and effect with the political issues. It doesn't make any difference what those are going on if you don't have a good relationship with money. You're just going to use those as excuses, in my opinion. There's ways to get around some of those problems that we're facing today, but that isn't what we're going to be sharing specifically. So
while we're on advertisements, I just got a text here from Ted Cruz. When does the political infrastructure stop from advertising? And since we're talking about the holidays, so be glad when that all ceases and subsides and goes away. But for all of you, and I will say this, and I don't mean to steal Tom's thunder, I think it's hilarious how in the political world, how they will text, use social media, whatever the means are, to put it out there. It just blows my mind. And you pick up the phone and call someone and they want to like go gaga on you, but they too are exercising their First Amendment right to, pontificate the finer points of whatever your persuasion is for this election. So I will say this, please do go out and vote, independent, Democrat, Republican, indifferent, do vote.
From my perspective, if you don't vote, you have no right to criticize. That's why I look at it. So I vote on things that are important to me and my family, and as well as other Americans, and try to pick that solution that is going to be best for all. Are all solutions perfect? No. Are all candidates perfect? Absolutely not. But it's really about their experience and really about the results they've demonstrated in the past as leaders, especially on a world stage as well. We're in a very interesting time as well. Could be perilous if it's not handled properly. And I believe the current administration is got us behind a rock and a hard spot, I would say, with regards to bigger conflicts and more involvement with American resources and our talent as well. So with that, let's rock and roll.
Yeah, please do. Explain to us how you came up Behavior Before Numbers.
Yeah, I'll get into that. Let me get my presentation up here real quick and make sure you can see it. I think that looks good. Can you see it?
There it is.
Good. I'm going to take down this banner so it's not in the way. Here we go. Good. So it's up and running. And behavior before numbers. Many times people looking at financial success, just understanding what the formula is. What do I need to do? But you can have the best formula, the best strategies in place, but if you don't have a belief system and a prosperity mindset, you'll sabotage it. You won't put those things forward. So we're going to be talking about the behaviors before we really talk about numbers. Once you get your behaviors in place, the numbers or the processes become easeful, not easy, but easeful to hit your financial goals and objectives. And so we'll be talking a little bit about that and some recommended reading and some sources that have changed my life, resources that changed my life and changed how I looked at my personal finances and my business success as well. So without any further ado, let's rock and roll. Behavior Before Numbers, the roadmap to financial security and freedom. Just want to welcome everybody tonight for this presentation. Like I shared with you, I'll be doing this this coming Saturday at a statewide convention here in Wisconsin. So I'm honored to be considered to give that presentation. A little about myself, my why. All the businesses I've done have always had an underlying pin of how can I help somebody else have better success, whether it be in the financial arena, educating people, financial coaching, being a Dave Ramsey certified coach, a personal development coach with Bob Proctor, and other influencers that help mold my thinking to prosperity. Because we all like to have financial success, but I guarantee you, if we really look at where we are today and how we got there, it's many times we get stuck where based on our environment, what we were brought up to believe about money. See, my folks grew up in the Depression era, and it was always struggle, lack of money, and those that had money were special or were different. So we sort of grew up in that culture of not believing that money was obtainable or abundance of money was obtainable to everybody. And I carried that into my life up until I met Bob Proctor. And then that light bulb came on, and I started changing my belief systems and my attitudes around how did I get to that point and how do I change that? So that's a little bit my why. So hopefully tonight something will stick to you and you'll take a next step forward in your success for financial peace and security. The behavior before the numbers. We're going to talk a little bit about the formula. So get your pens out, write this down. It's not that complicated, I guarantee you. But before we do that, I believe that if you got to make a change in anything as you do, you got to be disturbed. You got to be sick and tired of something that's been happening that you want to change. That's a behavior, emotional attachment. If you're complacent and you're not disturbed, you're not going to move forward. So you got to be emotionally attached. So let's talk about some facts about the American people. That has nothing to do with the current financial situation. These numbers have always been here, but it's amazing. Ask yourself, do you fit any of these categories? What do you want to change about any of these facts? Statistically, you are. 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That isn't something new. That's been going on for a long time. I can look back to my parents. It was week to week, paycheck to paycheck. I grew up with the same mentality. Can't wait till Friday payday. Then by Wednesday next week, all the money's gone. That time there's more month than money. That's been a tradition. That is a behavior decision. You don't have to. Here's something else, and this is part of the one of the things I'll be offering is my book on how debt robs your wealth building strategy. Typical household debt totals more than $38,000. That's not including a mortgage. $38,000. Think about that. My first house wasn't even $38,000. My first house. Okay, $38,000. Making minimal payments can take you 50 years to pay off that debt. So 24% of take-home pay is wasted on non-mortgage debt. Now, there's two thoughts. Dave Ramsey said all debt's bad, and I agree with the basic principle of that. But some debt is good when you're leveraging debt against an asset that gives it opportunity to appreciate. That's where borrowing money to buy an asset like a home. But if you're using your credit card to pay your utility bills, your groceries, going out to dinner, accumulating debt, paying 21 to 24% interest, that's robbing your future financially. You're spending next year's money already today being in debt. This is relative to today as well. 64% can't cover groceries for 1 month with their savings. %50 of Americans have less than $10,000 saved for retirement. Think about that. 68% don't prepare for a detailed budget. I'm going to cover just briefly about that here in a little bit. 49% have more debt than savings. 71% of Americans say debts are making their home lives unhappy and are using consolidation service, trying to reduce the monthly payment over a longer period of time to get out of debt. It's a strategy, but I don't believe it's one of the best strategies out there. Money problems are the number one cause and reason for divorce. 55% of Americans admit to always or sometimes worrying about money at some level. This is critical to understand. Stress is the number one cause of chronic health issues, and money issues are the number one cause of stress in one's life. Anxiety and just putting yourself in stress can trigger a lot of chronic health issues. So you want to be healthy, get your money in order, get a healthy budget. Okay. 43% of American families spend more than they take home. They spend $1.26 to every dollar they earn. So they're spending 26% more than they make. Whew. Those are frightening numbers, facts, Mark. And that's probably relating to 70% of the people we're addressing tonight or see this, that we fall in one of those categories or all of them. So if we not disturbed, how are we going to make a change? You must gain control of your money, or the lack of it will forever control you. To solve a problem, one needs to know what is the outcome of any decision made or to be made. Got to use a little bit of wisdom. Okay, to make this decision, what outcomes can I get from that decision? Is it supporting or taking away from a goal or a vision or a purpose with your money? Do you have priorities? Is it in that priority zone? So you got to think about, before you just emotionally make a decision about spending money, what are my options? What are the outcomes if I make that decision? Most people make a decision on the instant, on the emotional feel. You know who that individual is? Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest men in the world. And yeah, he's a genius when it comes to understanding how to buy companies and that type of stuff. His principles are flawless, in my opinion. But here's a man that started out as a youngster understanding some basic principles about how to win with money. He recognized early on, spend less than you earn. Spend less than you earn. Get out of debt and stay out of debt, plus save, equals the foundation of financial success. Here's one of the wealthiest men in the world. He spends less than he earns. Now, he has billions of dollars, but he just doesn't frivolously spend his money, because a lot of people have made millions and are broke because they spend more than they earn. We see it in the athletic arena all the time, not accustomed to what money is and how it works and how it could be here today and gone tomorrow. Warren Buffett. I just want to share this. Did you know that Warren Buffett never had a smartphone until 2023? Here's a man that has more money than anybody can comprehend. You think he'd have the newest and greatest. He's been driving a 20 or 30-year-old Cadillac for years. He's living in the same house he bought back in the 70s. He recognized his needs are being met. Here's a guy that could utilize the technology, but he just didn't go out and buy a phone because he had the money, because he needed the newest and greatest thing. I think that's something to think about. Here's a guy who had money was an issue in not buying an iPhone. I tell you what, I'm glad I don't have to buy an iPhone. What does an iPhone today cost? $1,200-$1,500, Mark? Yeah, you're muted, buddy.
And greatest with all the bells and whistles, at least that, depending on where you get your phone.
Yeah, I just think it's important to hear. You look at successful people. What are they doing? How do they make decisions? Why didn't he buy an iPhone every 6 months when a new feature came out? He recognized it wasn't going to improve his life or make a big, huge change in how he operated. He wasn't out there to impress somebody. Hey, look at me. I got the newest and greatest toy. He kept it in perspective. My phone worked great. I needed to call somebody. It always worked. I got through to somebody, and that was the reason he never changed. Until his service provider says, you got to have a new phone because we can't support your phone with our service. That was the reason he had to change. So he upgraded. Otherwise, he'd still probably be talking on a flip phone or a telephone line, whatever the case may be, right? A rotary phone. Ask somebody, one of these youngsters today, dial your number on a rotary phone, and they won't be able to do it. Well, Mark, I tell you what, the problem's been solved. Thank you, everybody, for your attention. We wish you luck. Spend less than you earn, get out of debt, and save some money. You have won financially. But that isn't really the end. Sort of a joke here. Thank you for being here. We all know what to do to win with money, right? Then why do most struggle with money? So if it's that simple, but why do we continue doing poor decisions, behaviors that don't support outcomes that we really want in our life? Why do we do that? Culture. How were you brought up? What was your parents' relationship with money? Their circle of friends and families. If you take a look around your environment, you'll find that you circle your life with the 5 people that have the same net worth, same belief systems about money, same belief systems about faith, same belief systems about politics. So if you want to change, start looking at how other people think and what their relationship with money is. And you can change that behavior, your belief system as well. You may not ever have to struggle with money again. This is staggering. I still want to go back to facts because this is a reality. Less than 3.5% of Americans have a net worth of $1 million or more. From my perspective, that's a tragedy. When we have the highest income earners in America, there's no reason, if you do the math and apply some basic principles, there isn't any individual that we're talking to tonight can't be financially independent. And that everybody's going to have a different definition of what that is and what it means to them. But at least having $1 million or more of disposable assets by the time they're age 65. If you don't have it, there's other strategies you can use to provide that income to support the lifestyle that's important to you at retirement or whatever the case may be. But this is a tragedy. We looked at what the average person has less than $10,000 saved for retirement. How is $10,000 going to support a lifestyle of $90,000 a year family income, right? It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. So we're not going to get into strategies of tax laws and qualified plans and blah, 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 investment strategies. We're going to talk really about, let's reframe your belief system, get you emotionally charged to make a decision that will change your life. Take a look at your environment. It is a reality of your current and past beliefs. What's around you right now is the manifestation of all your belief systems, the actions you take, and beliefs and attitudes around money. Bill Gates, his surrounding is around his beliefs and attitudes about money. So we can take a look around us and take a look at our home or cars that we drive, our vacations that we take, what we do for gifts for our spouses, what we do for recreation. It's a direct relationship, a reality of our belief system. Your relationship of thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes are the manifestation of in the present moment. What do you think about that, Mark? You're muted, buddy.
I keep getting mute. I keep getting muted for whatever reason. Maybe they're trying to hush me up. No, it's true. It all starts with, your attitude and hanging around the people that, you want to emulate or be like, and learn from them and learn from others.
Yeah.
A lot of times people won't look in the mirror, the accountability mirror, and be truthful with themselves.
Yeah.
A lot of times you're the reason you're not succeeding, and it has to do with your belief and your mental attitude, the way you approach things.
Yeah. Your professional success is tied to your beliefs in relationship with money. You may have great knowledge and great skills, but if you don't have a strong belief system around money, you'll sabotage yourself. It's like oil and water. You got to be very clear on your beliefs and relationship, because if you're the more successful people are, they have a strong belief system around earning money, what money means to them, and what their relationship with money is, and why they want more money. It's not just to buy more stuff, most of that as well. So this will affect your career as well, the type of jobs you seek, the type of business you go after, the amount of success you'll have in a business is around your belief systems, the money you earn. So to get where we want to go, we have to have a mindset change and new beliefs. We either have a growth mindset or fixed mindset. Most people are in the fixed mindset. This is what I was taught. This is the way how I was raised. This is what my cultures caused me to believe. This is what they taught in school. You can go on and on and on. But those that are succeeding and having success financially in all areas of life, in business as well as their personal finances, have a growth mindset. They're willing to make a change, to take a hard look at themselves, really evaluate, how did I come to that belief? Is it supporting what I want? You want a different reality? Change your thinking. Plain and simple. Change your thinking. And we're not talking law. We're not talking panacea. But if you exercise certain principles in your life around attitudes and beliefs, your actions will start aligning, and the actions start giving the results you're seeking. Are you a fixed mindset or your growth mindset? Question is, what does a millionaire look like? Mark, what does a millionaire look like? What's the first thought that comes to your thinking?
You mean as another person? Or
Yeah.
I think if you look in the mirror, you could be a millionaire. I mean, they look like you and me. They're everyday people.
But we usually have some image what that is, the types of houses they live in, types of vacations they take, types of cars where the kids go to school, types of clothes they wear. We have some sort of mental mindset of what a millionaire should look like. We wish was true, okay?
Right.
It's not what you think.
But that's why I said that, because the ones I know of, they look like you and me, and you'd never know that they have or are a millionaire over a few times. And the greatest example of that for me was my brother-in-law. You'd never know it if you met him. The stuff you're talking about, he implemented in his own business, and that's why he did what he did.
Yeah. The book, I don't know if you ever read this book or exposed to the Millionaire Next Door. It really talks about who they are, their belief systems,
Right.
the attitudes, and that type of stuff. And you would never know it. They don't wear it on their sleeve. Hey, I'm a millionaire. And those that usually flaunt that they have a lot of stuff usually
Right.
don't have anything. They're
Yeah.
just another statistic at a higher level. That's all. They're one paycheck away from being broke as well. So, and then the new book, the next millionaire next door, could be you. Is it going to happen overnight? Sure, if you hit the lottery or you hit a big stock option that panned out. But the reality to get there takes a lot of work and it takes time. So what does that look like to you? What does a millionaire look like to you, Mark? What does it that, and whatever your mindset is, that's what it's going to be. Part of my thinking changed when I met Bob Proctor. He's got a book called the international bestseller, You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. You can get a free PDF download by going to my 180degreefinancialcoaching.com. Download that in a PDF form as a gift, because he really talks about where real wealth is, what we're really here for, not just how big is your bank account, but what sort of wealth can we bring to our lives and other people's lives around us. It's not always tied with a dollar symbol to it. And myself being in financial service and living the experience of being broke, being in debt, struggling, and all those things that got me in trouble years ago, which caused a lot of issues in relationship and marriages. And when I started coaching people on financially, I decided to write a book on what I saw the number one reason people are struggling, besides the mindset, is understanding debt and how it impacts your wealth building strategies. And I talk about a wide range of things in this. It's about a 70-page little book. It'll give you insight of breaking down some myths that are out there, and really get you to question and thinking about why should I not make that decision to lease a car or buy a car or whatever the case, and give solutions to that. So that's a free download as well. You can go to my website, 180degreefinancialcoaching.com. Go to free downloads on the tab and download it there. No charge, just your time. This was brought to my attention by Glenn Morshower. I don't know if you know who Glenn Morshower is. He's a Hollywood actor, TV actor, done more movies and TV series than any other actor in Hollywood. He does personal development training. He does actors training. But if you really want to know what direction you're going in anything, is recognize your first thought. Mark, I'm going to do this with you. If I said, do you want to become a multi-millionaire, have $10 million next year, what's your first thought? Really think about it. What was your first thought when you heard that? Usually it's something, oh shit, he's got to be, yeah, that'd be great, but I can't see myself doing that, right? There's, yeah, it sounds
well,
great.
no, I kind of, I don't know, maybe I thought about it differently, but I said in my brain automatically is, what's the process to get there, you know?
Is it going to be work? You know, something's, it's really dictating how you're going to take action or not action. That first thought, when we get very clear on the first thoughts with challenges, opportunities, we got to be cognitive of what that process is. So if I say $1 million, my first thought is something different than yours, but it also talks about what my relationship belief system is about that $1 million. And when we get clear on recognizing our first thought, it tells us what direction we've been going and heading. And if we don't like the outcome that it's taken us, we've got to learn how to stop that thinking and replace it with a different thought. And through repetition, and because eventually it is the garment you wear. It's the surrounding that everything that's in my room here, everything in my environment is a direct relationship to some sort of first thought somewhere, or accumulation of those thoughts.
Right.
Somebody else can be put with the same circumstances, the same situation, have different thoughts, get a different outcome. How does that happen? It all ties down to your belief systems and attitudes and what actions you take in relationship to that. Make sense?
Sure.
This is basically what I was saying a second ago. The mind moves in the direction of our current dominant thoughts. Earl Nightingale. He was an influencer with Bob Proctor. So I've seen this. If your mind can conceive it, you can hold it in your hand. The mind moves in the direction of your current dominant thoughts. What's your first thought? What's your dominant thought? In any situation, whether it be in a relationship, whether it be with money, whether it be opportunity, investing, what's your first thought? Sometimes that's called intuition. It could be gut as well, but your first thoughts really is the pattern you're thinking that if it's going to fulfill the outcome, great, you continue going that direction. If not, you got to change that thought. The sum of all our thoughts comprises your overall attitude. And I don't know how many people know Glenn Bill, but he's a former high school football coach, real estate professional, has written the book, and it has an institute called the ABCs of Attitude. Your surroundings is all about your attitudes, your belief systems. We all have an attitude about something, positive and or negative. I could say something politically, we're going to have an attitude or belief system around that. Mark might be different than mine or whatever the case, but we all have an attitude about money, success, and how we address that determines the outcome, because we're going to move in the direction of our predominant thoughts, our attitudes. So do an attitude check. It's so important. Get attitude. I encourage everybody to get Glenn's book, The ABCs of Attitude. It's a phenomenal, simple read, but it's really powerful. It's these principles are all sort of coming together as I've learned them and applied them in my life. And I'm still growing. I'm still struggling. I haven't got a perfect life, but I'm perfectly trying to change it. So, challenge. When a negative thought enters your mind, think 3 positive ones. Train yourself to flip the script. These are the principles Bob Proctor taught, Glenn Bill, and some other people around this. Understanding how our mind thinks and how it dictates the outcomes that we're having in our own lives. Change your thinking, change your results. People always say, well, Tom, where do I begin? Begin with the end in mind. What does that look like? Mark, if we could say, gee, what type of financial security you want? What does it look like when you're 90 or 100? What is that going to look like? And you start there and you work backward, because eventually we're all going to get to some age where we generally right now don't even think about, in our culture, baby boomers are just now starting to think about home care, assisted living care, things that come along with old age. We never really think much about them. We may experience in our own families. We know people that are in that situation. But what do you want? Where do I begin? I'll start with this. There's a good side of that picture of being old, and there's a downside as well, right?
Yep.
What's the worst case scenario? You should look at that. What's the worst case scenario? You begin with the end in mind, start with the end outcome, and work backwards to make your dreams possible. This is what I hear all the time. I don't know what I want, but I know what I don't want. We may not be specific on exactly what we want with financial success, but you already know what you don't want. You don't want to be in the streets living under a cardboard box, right, Mark? You don't want to be in an assisted living facility. All they're doing is wiping your butt and you're wiping your face, right? You want a little more quality of life at that end stage, right? What's it going to look like? Who's going to be in your life to help you get through those final days? There's poor decisions will give you poor outcomes, positive decisions. So you start at the end and work backwards. Most people aren't even thinking about their end of life game plan. Would you agree, Mark?
Absolutely.
So we need to know what we don't want. That's a good starting point in planning your future on anything that you want. My wife is a great one. She knows, she's a great teacher of this, and she knows what she doesn't want. She built her life around what she doesn't want. She doesn't go there. I think this is important to do. Where are our priorities? And I can tell you this. I can take a look at a credit card statement or take a look at a checkbook. I can tell you exactly what your priorities are. Where you eat lunch, where do you go? The average person spends more time in planning for their vacation than their financial stability and freedom. Yeah, we want to go away. We want to have some fun. We want to get away this next summer. And they'll spend hours planning and figuring how they're going to do that, how they're going to come up with the money. Most of the time, they don't have enough money. So they say, well, we got a credit line of $2,000. We can get part of it there. And they pay for that vacation the rest of their life, right? Pay for that vacation the rest of their life. So you really got to take some time. Start with the end in mind. I'm going to talk a little bit about the process. Zero-based budgeting, what that is. Because most people don't like budgets. Because a budget tells you is a reflection of what you did or didn't do with your money. It's an accounting. It says, yeah, you had no money in the bank and a lot of debt and no money in retirement, and you made X, but you have zero for it. Zero-based budget is the best way to manage your money. But here's the financial planning life stages. When we're young, getting out, graduating high school or college, we're thinking about fun stuff. We're talking about our travels, our hobbies and the fun stuff. We want to go snow skiing, we want to travel, we want to do that. So we spend most of our time and energy planning for those things. But as we move into our 20s, into our 30s, we're starting to establish a career. And again, going back to your belief system will determine what type of career you have, your self-image and self-belief about what type of money you can make out there. Why some people work in minimum wage jobs and other people going after their doctorate degrees and become physicians and such. Their belief system, their cause, and their purposes. So in their 20s and 30s, socializing, we're socializing and we're getting our careers established. Then we move in our 30s to 40s. We've either been married or plan on getting married. We're looking to buy that first home. We can take advantage of that. And we're planning our family. Having children, what's it going to take there? Then we move into our 40s to 50s. We're looking at this time, there's sort of a reality check. Gee, in 15 years, I can't wait to retire because I can quit the job I hate and I can go play golf every day. And that doesn't happen because the cost of playing golf is going to exceed what most people make in their retirement on a day-to-day basis. So this is where reality comes in. Oh, gee, I better do something. I better do something. And then the 50s and 60s, things change a little bit about how we look at our travels or holidays in our retirement. What does that look like? Part of your retirement should be that long-term care. What's that lifestyle going to be like? Are you living in a nursing home? Do you have in-home care? Do you have loved ones taking care of you, spouse, or are you having to hire people to take care of you for the things you can't do for yourself? And guess what? People say that's not going to happen to me. Well, nearly 70% of all people are going to need some sort of care in the future for one reason or another, whether it be cognitive, whether it be physical. They fall and break a hip, they get ill, chronic illnesses. And then stress. Money here is really, lack of money is putting more stress, and people get sicker the older they get. I like the principle that Dave Ramsey, every dollar that comes into your household should be going to work for you. What does that mean? That doesn't mean being invested. It means that you do a complete balance sheet in a zero-based budget of all your income, where it comes in, what's going out, groceries, gas, car insurance, car payments, house payments, savings, so on and so forth. And you allocate a portion or every dollar comes into one of those categories. And so at the end, if you have $1,000 income budget, just use the sake as a round number, all your expenses against your income should equal zero. Then you know where every dollar is going. It's either working for you or working against. If you got more going out than you have coming in, you got to find a solution to that. It's maybe tightening some of those areas up in your budget, doing without some things that are not necessary for your quality of life, putting up delayed gratification for some things. Those things people don't want to do. But a zero-based budget is the best tool that you can use, that you don't, at the end, first of the month, you don't have to worry about where the dollars are going. If you have a debt situation, you already allocated through some of the strategies I teach, through debt snowball debt payoff strategies, you know that if you exercise that principle and in 6 months you'll be debt free. It's just a matter of making sure those dollars in those categories and being allocated to that goal. One of the biggest problems people have, they don't have an emergency fund. Don't have an emergency fund. Car breaks down, they can't afford $1,000 repair bill. They can't get to work. Then they're relying on friends and families. That puts strains on those relationships. And next thing you know, you can't even get to work and you're losing your job. So zero-based budgeting means that for any budget period, typically a month, your income minus your expenses should equal zero. A zero-based budget requires that every dollar be allocated to a budget category so that the ending balance of the budgeting period is zero. The goal is to make sure every dollar that comes in serves a purpose, whether it's discretionary spending or paying bills, building savings or reducing debt. That's zero-based budget. I can provide you a zero-based budget worksheet that'll help you. You plug the numbers in and it works it all out and shows you, do you have a zero-based budget? And then you attack those areas that you're spending money in that maybe you can eliminate totally or reduce your cost. Gee, I didn't realize I was spending $200 a week eating out, taking the wife out to dinner and the kids out to McDonald's hamburgers, right? Sum that up. If you don't have a tracking method, you have no idea what you're spending and you wonder why you're broke at the end of the month. Determine what your priority. I'm not here to tell you where your priorities are, but you can see where you spend money and know what your priorities are. If you're spending money, you don't have a priority of saving money. Plain and simple. If you have a priority of saving money, you're finding ways to save money. For example, cell bill. A lot of you may have a cell service provider. You're paying $80 for that line a month. Well, guess what? Shop around. Maybe you can find a cell provider that provided for $20 a month. What would $60 a month do in your budgetary goals? Just like Q streaming. The average family is spending $1,300 a year for their home entertainment. So if that's important to you, I'm going to tell you not to have a streaming platform, but can I get the same value of services for less money? If you can, do it. Plain and simple. Because what would $600 to $700 a year do in your budget? Could be the difference you retire or not retiring. Could be the difference you send your child to a college of your choice. It could be the difference of you going on vacations. It could be the difference in how you're going to be taken care of at your end of life period as well. So it's important that you evaluate, where can I cut? What do I need? And is it serving my goal and my vision? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. This is where you should start. What's that end picture look like? What would it look like when you're 80 or 90 years old? You've had knee replacements, you've had heart attacks, you're on medications, who knows what's going on. We just look around. Just go to a nursing home and see all the problems. What do you want that picture to look like? There's great facilities, there's home care facilities, a lot of options out there. You need to know today what your options are and start planning for that today. Don't wait until you're 75 years old and say, okay, great, now what do I do? It's not a pretty picture, guarantee you. Not a pretty picture. So you start with your long-term care and work backward, your retirement, all the way back to today. Every day should have a financial picture painted for you. What am I doing with my money today? Here again, these are facts around the long-term care. Do people have enough assets to pay for long-term care needs? No. Most people in the United States do not have enough assets to pay for long-term care. You just go through these needs. Financial assets. They don't have enough financial assets. Discretionary income coming off those to pay, give you cash flow to pay for those services. They're not going to be cheap. Typically, my wife and I have a wellness center at a long-term care facility here in Oconomowoc. It has an independent living side and then dependent living side where they have assisted living and all the healthcare services you need to survive. And it's $10,000 to $15,000, $20,000 a month. And that's one of the higher end type of facilities. And so if you spend less for the similar services, you're going to get equally poor care for yourself or your loved ones. So you need to start planning today, because getting old is part of life. Dying is part of life. We need to plan for that and know what all the outcomes are going to be. Now, and what the impact will do on you financially. You've worked hard to build a house. You worked hard to build maybe a retirement account up. You worked hard. And if you haven't planned this piece, you could lose it all in a matter of 10 months or less. You lose it all. Everything you worked for. And guess what? You don't have a lot of control, because that's governed by statutes and IRS and you name it. So plan for that. So we did an interview with Dan Altmeyer. Here's some information. I encourage you to get his book. It's a pretty comprehensive book. You got it there, Mark, in front of you?
Right here.
Yeah, it's a great book, and I encourage people to get it for themselves, their loved ones, their parents, because this is a reality check. If we don't start here, all the things that we worked hard to get there mean nothing. Mean nothing. I want a quality of life. I got a good quality of life today, and I want to have a good quality of life as I exit the earth as well. When do I get started? Now. Plain and simple. Now. Because procrastination, waiting has an impact. So are you ready? I'm going to cover something here that's pretty interesting. The wealthy mindset, manifesting prosperity through intentional actions. We talked about attitudes and beliefs. The behaviors are associated with that, creates the actions that we take, and that determines what type of success we have or lack of success. Very simple formula, the mindset. The cost, the price of waiting. Brother and sister, twins. Anna, age 25, savings for 11 years. She puts away $5,000 for 11 years. Stop saving. She's young. She got her first job. She's saving. And then she starts having a family and life comes in, all those things that we talked about in other periods of her life. She stops saving $5,000 a year. And just understanding the principle of time value of money and the compounding effect of money. As you have money, you start to learn best ways to use that money to leverage it to get the best returns, ROI. That's a total of $55,000 invested at age 60. She'd have $615,000. But Mike, her brother, started at age 35, a twin. He'd have to put $5,000 every year in to have $431,000, nearly a $200,000 difference by waiting, and have to spend $130,000 versus 55. So when we start understanding the consequences of not getting started, so every year that you wait, it's going to cost you more money down the road to accomplish a financial goal. Higher rate of return you need to seek. You need to find different ways to create income. All those different things, passive, strategic, passive incomes. So what do you think about that, Mark? Procrastination. Do you think this is where most people fall in? I'll get to it later.
Yes. They think they have more time than, and if you mentioned Dan's book, which I did show, yeah, there you go. It's a great read. I'd go to his website. There's a lot of things that you're talking about. He touches those subjects that you have outlined more in detail as to what's in his book. But, it's a good overview. And yeah, we're all guilty of it. We all put things off.
Yeah. And the numbers won't lie. When we start understanding these numbers, start running them, and it just asks yourself, would you rather invest $55,000 over that period of time and have $616,000, or invest $130,000 to have $431,000?
Yeah. It's a big difference.
No brainer, right? A big, huge difference.
Right.
Here's my offer. You can go to my website, 180 Degree Financial Coaching. Go to the tab Downloads. You can download the Bob Proctor's book, You Were Born Rich, How Debt Destroys Your Wealth Building Strategy, my little booklet, zero budget worksheet. So you can just start working that, play with the numbers, and start analyzing where your money is. Where can I save money? Am I spending it in areas that is not supporting my needs and my wants? You don't spend money in those areas. You just redirect those dollars to the things that are going to help you either get out of debt or save money to invest. And then if you would like to have a 30-minute consultation, I'd be glad to talk to you about that, help you get off to a fast start. If you're looking for coaching or in depth on that, we can talk about that as well. So I have some coaching programs that I can work with you on as well. In closing, this is the most important principle of the mindset. You hear a lot of people talking about what's your goals. I'll tell you what, without a goal, without whys, goals don't work. And the power of a vision, a clear mental picture of the outcome you seek is the power. When you get a clear vision of the outcome you seek, that end result, nothing gets in the way. You won't let the economy get in the way. You won't let politics get in the way. You will do what it takes to meet those needs, and it becomes easeful when you're clear on your vision. Because most people have a goal. Most goals are defeated when they've hit the first obstacle. They quit. Most people will quit, or they'll modify their goal. They'll downsize their goal. Oh, maybe $1 million in what I want in my future. Maybe 300,000. I think I can do that. If you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're right again. People either change their thinking downwards. So that your power of vision is the most important element of the mindset. Nothing will get in the way when you're clear on your vision. The greatest wealth builders ever had, they had a vision first. And the how-tos followed later. And they never let the setbacks and the struggles, and challenges they had along the way get in the way. They just found solutions. They just found solutions. Maybe change their own mindset and they change their own thinking. Start talking with people who have a different view of success in those areas. Start implementing those principles. Success has a formula. Find that formula that works for you, that meets your vision, and just take action. So that's probably, I think this principle right here by Dr. Miles Monroe, get his book. It's spiritually based, spiritual principles. It makes all the difference in the world. So that's what I wanted to share tonight. That's the presentation I'll be giving this Saturday. So any feedback or any thoughts on that?
I thought it was very good. And now that you made all of us feel guilty,
I hope I disturbed you.
No. I would tell anybody to reach out to Tom. He knows what he's talking about. And, that's why I hang around people like this, because I keep things on the third grade level for a reason. But Tom knows his stuff here. So I would definitely reach out to him if you have a question or you want to have a consultation. I thought everything that you talked about is true to form. Some of these things I've heard before. That's all I'm going to say.
I think we've expounded on those ourselves or had other people expound on them.
Yes. I think those of the, every time I look at these goals and achievement, and I think of that greatest generation group of people, like you said, what does a millionaire look like? That's what I was getting at. The people I knew, they just, what you envision as a young person is great looking clothes, a killer car, some sort of mansion, and that's not the case. Particularly if you looked at a guy like Warren Buffett, very unassuming, but very knowledgeable. And when they speak, you have a tendency to listen to what it is that they're offering and sharing with you. I was blessed when I was younger to be around people like that. Pretty cool people. They're not what you think. I mean, right. They know how they got there. They're very comfortable in their own skin, and they're always looking to improve. That's the one thing I think I've learned as I get older in life. I don't care whether it's financial planning, umpiring, sports, being a great mom. They're always looking at, doing things better. How can I make this better? What could I do? Or, they're always questioning themselves in a good way.
I'm going to change a word that you use, better. When you say, I want to do something better, that says subconsciously you failed. Right. Change the word to differently. What could I do differently?
Differently, yeah. Or how can I improve? I mean, I don't know. I guess
words do have power, and when I hear those things, I want to bring it to people's attention. What could I do better? You just said to your subconscious, it's in conflict, that you failed. What could I do different? You're changing behavior. What could I do different? There's not a better behavior, just a different behavior. When you start putting better on things, you're saying something you're doing isn't enough. Make sense?
Oh, sure. Another way to look at it, I guess I'll use baseball as an example. I do feel like you can fail your way to success, though. It's just something I believe when you're up there, because things are going to happen. I would love to see every kid get a hit, but it doesn't work that way. Much to the chagrin of their parents. But no, I'll keep that in mind. So differently, how they do things differently, Yeah, words do have power. You are absolutely correct.
It's how we embrace them and how we understand how it affects our subconscious thinking.
And I think another thing is people compare themselves.
Should never compare.
That's the killer to me. You got to look at where you're at, and you mentioned it time and time again tonight. Find out what your why, what process works for you and your why, and what type of massive action you're going to take. Your massive action, not someone else's.
Exactly.
And I think that's what we struggle with. Some people struggle with that because they're always comparing, and you don't need to do that.
Yeah, I don't want to compare myself to Donald Trump. I'm equally successful as he is. I've got a great relationship.
Right.
In the eyes of the average person, I have a beautiful residence I live in. I planned it this way where I don't have to do yard work. I live in a condominium complex. Got a workout room.
Did you have to rub that in? Because like I just had my deck worked on, and there's other things now we got to do in the backyard because
So I'm just grateful for where I am today and what I have, and I'm grateful what is coming as well.
Right.
And I have some things that I've been working on that are coming, and those are part of the vision that I had years ago. They're coming full circle. Don't compare yourself,
right?
Especially if you're struggling, because right where you're at today, there's something positive that you can build off of in every circumstance, whether it be relationship, business, your finances, or whatever. If you're struggling financially, be grateful that if you have a job, that you have the job. How can you take that job and how can you leverage to make more money, build security with that? Are you utilizing all your talents in that job to earn yourself up what I call the corporate ladder? And that's meritocracy. The more you give in value, the more you're going to get paid as well. So, and I like being in business for myself because I control every aspect of that scenario. So, well, my friend, another week, another.
Yeah, I know. I mean, last week I was, I was still in Texas last week. Yeah, it was 92 to 95 degrees there.
Last weekend, did a 4-day getaway with the wife. At a client of hers has a home on a lake called Devil's Lake.
That's great.
And, we just big windows on the outside of the cabin and facing the Devil's Mountain and the lake right there, and just incredible. Did a little bit of hiking, got my knees sore, but other than that, I'm still grateful I can still walk. But,
are you limping today or?
No, yesterday we did for a ride, and we went to Holy Hill, which is a basilica here in Wisconsin. It's built on top of the hill overlooking the area. Built in 1855, beautiful Catholic facility. So we drove up there, did the back roads. Maine has beautiful falls. Wisconsin has some beautiful falls. I'd match ours with anybody's. So we did a nice back road tour. We walked from the parking lot, which is all the way uphill to the basilica, but got to get some good exercise in and took in the nature and the beauty of fall time.
Right.
All right, Mark.
All right. Well, thank you again for sharing all this. If anybody's out there, hey, if you want to reach out to me, but this is the guy I need to talk to about all this.
Thank you.
But again, for the last time, I will tell anyone that watch this, connect with Tom if you want to learn more about this.
If nothing else, download those books. Take some action. Read something that's going to give you a better perspective of how you think about prosperity and money.
Yep.
You'll get clear on that, and you can make the changes as you see fit for yourself and your life, and what you determine what you don't want. And then, of course, you don't take any action that moves you in that direction.
Right.
All right,
Robert, thank you for your comments. I appreciate it. Eric Bam, yes, thank you. I know there were some other people out here listening, and all good. So it is Monday, the 21st, and it is, look at that, it's 7:12 So,
Yeah. Thomas Freeze made a comment or was on.
yeah, he was. Master Ginn was at it again. So this is Tom's passion, finances, and that's his deal.
Okay.
He's very good at it.
All right. Thank you, my friend. Everybody have a blessed evening, and we'll see each other next week. We may have a guest, we may not. We'll have some sort of subject or maybe a replay. Who knows?
I think we'll have a guest, but we're working on that right now. So,
okay. All right. See everybody next week. Same time, same station.
all right, guys.
Bye.